Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. And as you can see, I'm just leaving the Nairobi Western Bypass and I want to visit Gitaru Oldtown, which is only a few kilometers off the bypass. In fact, if I had continued that way, I could be hitting Kikuyu Town in less than 5 minutes. And right before Kikuyu Town, there is an underpass, which is approximately 200 meters from here. And a small town has developed around it, and it is called Gitaru, which is quite popular. And probably you have been there. In fact, it is the point where the Western Bypass meets the Southern Bypass, while the Nairobi-Nakuru Highway passes through the small town, going westward towards Uganda. And most of you don't know that there is a real Gitaru town, with all features of an old shopping center and a thriving community. And it is only a few meters from Gitaru Underpass, and probably only the locals know about it, since it's a bit interior. And that is our destination today. We'll be getting there in less than a minute, but let me first show you the entire area on the map so that you can get the real picture. And you can see the main highway here, which is marked with yellow, and it is Nairobi-Nakuru Highway, while the other one joining it from left at Gitaru is the Nairobi Southern Bypass. And I hope you notice that Gitaru Market is a few meters from the junction. I hope now the picture is painted clear. Let's continue with our journey, but the road is quite pathetic. But before we hit Gitaru Market, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to our YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. We intend to visit and document all the small towns in the 290 constituencies across the country. We are finishing up with Kabete Constituency before we move to our next one. Actually, it's border with Kikuyu Constituency. It's around the corner. And so if you have not yet subscribed, kindly consider doing so that we can travel across this beautiful country together. Now back to the video, and I can see our destination is a few yards from here. Actually, the old shopping center starts at the point where you see the old story building ahead, and it seems like a highly developed place. Of course, with the African standards, don't get it twisted. But one thing that messes this entire place up is this very road, which is very pathetic. It needs maintenance, and this is a high population area. I'll be giving you numbers in a short time, but let's first explore this small town, see what's up. And so far I have noted there are very old buildings. You can see them on my right. And so far I'm looking for a way to get into the town center, which is also on the right, and I hope I'll get one right in front. Of course, it's my first time here. In fact, I never knew this town existed, but I have known Gitaru Underpass for quite some time now. And let me turn on my right. I can see the beautiful town is here. In fact, to me, it's a shocker. I never thought it was this big and busy too. And I can see the old building model. It's still thriving here. In fact, I have noted it's very popular across the country in most shopping centers. I don't know who invented it or whether it was a general rule to build shops the same way. In fact, you can see this one on my left. Well, old timers can tell us whether there was something like that on the comment section below. And it's a bit hectic here. Roads are a bit narrow. And on the right, there's a market, an open air market. It seems like people decided to park on the road, although it is common, especially around old market areas. And remember, most of these shopping centers were developed long time ago, and most people had no idea that this kind of developments will come. For instance, you can see the government decided to modernize the market on the left. A move the owners of the buildings on the right never thought would happen when building them, probably more than 50 or 60 years ago, therefore deciding to encroach on the road reserve. But one thing I have noted about this town is that it is very busy and businesses are thriving. You can see this one on my right, which is dealing with all kinds of Mali products. It's a well-stocked shop. Kudos to the owner. I'm told running a successful business in this era is not a walk in the park. There is a global recession and inflation is quite high across the world, but it seems like this town is not affected. You can see it for yourself. In fact, my regular viewers will tell you that we have visited the real dead towns right here in Kiambu County. You can watch those videos later. They are on this channel. There is another open air market on the left, and this one is dealing with clothes and plastic products. Most of them are kitchenware. I can spot very nice utensils. It seems like the first market was dealing with food products, such as vegetables and cereals. In fact, I'm shocked. I never expected the small town to have two open air markets, and both are busy. That's a rare occurrence. You can only expect that in bigger towns, such as Wangigi and Ruiru and Kiambu. And that tells you a lot about this place, especially in terms of the economy. And funny enough, there are no vacant shops, a problem I have noted in most of my tours across the country. In fact, there is a town I visited last month in Murang'a County. The name was Kabete, and at some point, I found myself alone in the entire town. But Gitaru seems to be quite different. I'm told the town has been in existence for more than 100 years. In fact, its growth was influenced by the development of the Uganda Railway, which was developed by the British colonial government and got here in the 1900s. The railway passes next to the town. In fact, I'll be taking you there later in the video, although it does not operate often anymore, especially after the completion of the standard gauge railway around 2017. It is also good to know that the railway line had died for many decades, and most towns developed along the corridor had also died as they relied on the railway transportation. But it is crazy to note that Gitaru is still thriving, and in fact it's doing better than most shopping centers across the country. I would really want to know the secret from a local's perspective. You can tell us on the comment section below if you come from this area. But I believe the town's close proximity to Nairobi-Nakuru highway is also a factor, as the highway is just next door. Also remember the two Nairobi major bypasses converge in this area, and that is the western and the southern bypasses, which are also highways. I want to check the residential area for a moment and see how the people live. It also seems like the town extends this way. And this bridge right here is the railway line. It was built in the 1900s, meaning it is more than 120 years old. And mind you, the bridge is still in use, despite the British using an old building technology. And I don't think they used any form of concrete and steel, as I only saw stones, although I stand to be corrected. I'm not an expert in that area. But it seems like the medieval building technology was an invention of its own. Well, I can see the town has been extending this way. You can see the busy shops on my right, although the area is not as busy as the town center we just left. But it seems like the future of the town is on this side, as there are available spaces. But there are no permanent buildings in this section. I don't know why. Maybe it's a road reserve. And this great wall in front is the Nairobi-Nakuru highway, which is one of the busiest highways in Africa. In fact, it goes all the way to Egypt, and its official name is the Great North Road. And southward, it goes all the way to South Africa. In fact, I have seen people traveling from Kenya to South Africa by road, which is a minimum 5-day journey. Well, sometimes last year I had the idea of doing the adventurous route, but I decided to first halt the ambitious trip and first visit all the small towns in my beautiful country, as they all have a story to tell. Well, the ambition is still on. Maybe after visiting all the 290 constituencies in Kenya, I'll consider doing that. We believe in the living God. Of course, we'll make it happen. And one thing that is really getting my attention about this road is that it is not maintained despite being next to the highway. In fact, I believe it is part of the highway, which was completed a few years ago. And it seems like the Chinese contractor decided to run away immediately after the new government was sworn in. Well, I don't know what happened, but that's politics in Africa. Sometimes it gets complicated, but I'm told the contractor is back on site on the old Gitaru bridge. They are building it. So kudos to the national government. Well, this small stretch here is tarmacked. In fact, it seems to be well maintained. And I'm not sure where it is going, since it is in the middle of nowhere. Or maybe it serves the village beyond. I don't know. Well, there seems to be a problem. The answer is here. In fact, it seems like we have hit a dead end. And as you can see, the old railway line is here. I'll have to turn around and find another route. But I wonder whose idea it was to tarmac the small section of road, which comes from nowhere and goes to nowhere. But I hope public resources were not used. Or maybe there's something I don't understand. Or maybe there's a reason only known to the locals. They can tell us on the comment section below. What is the purpose of the small road? Why was it tarmacked? And it leads to nowhere. And you can see from this point on it's not tarmacked. Well, let me leave that issue at that point and quickly check other numbers before I go back to the town center. In fact, it seems like it may rain anytime soon. And I don't want that to happen while I'm here, as it is not good for filming. And let me start by saying that the small town is in a ward called Gitaru ward, which has two sublocations, Gitaru and Kanyariri. It is in Kabete Constituency, Kiambu County, although Nairobi is not far from here. And the small town has a population of 24,543 people, where 11,858 are men, while 12,673 are women. Well, that's normal, although there are more than 800 women than men, which is also a reflection of the national average. And in terms of population density, the area has 5,626 people per square kilometer. And remember, a square kilometer is only 250 acres, so you can do the maths. This area is densely populated. You can't even compare with the neighboring Kanyariri, part of which I'll be showing you later in the video. And it has a population density of 2,766 people per square kilometer. It seems like a village, especially when compared to a small town, which had more than 5,600 people sharing a square kilometer. Well, the entire Gitaru ward has a population of 42,862 people. 20,834 are men, while 22,025 are women. There are 14,000 households and a population density of 3,902 people per square kilometer. And the same trend is also reflected in Kabete Constituency, which has more than 200,000 people. In fact, the 2019 general census indicated that Kabete Constituency had a population of 199,653 people. The annual population change is 3.6%, an indication that people are still increasing in big numbers. And let's check age distribution, which is another interesting area. And out of the 200,000 people, those aged 65 and above were only 6,942, while those aged 0 to 14, well, children, there were 60,023, which was 30% of the population. Well, you can see the number of the elderly people is very low, as out of a population of 200k people, less than 7,000 people are aged 65 and above. Well, you can do the maths. In fact, that is less than 4% of the population. In fact, the number continues to shrink as you go up. For instance, those aged 90 and above are only 316. Those between 80 and 89 are 1,141. And those between 17 and 79 are 3,051. The median age, which is the age with the majority, are those aged between 20 and 29, as they are 44,333. Well, this is also unique, as in most places that you have visited, children aged between 0 and 9 forms the majority, and that tells you that the area has a low birth rate. I don't know why. But it also seems to be a global issue. millennials and Gen Z are not having as many kids as their parents. And maybe we will come to understand the reason 5 to 10 years from now. Well, it just rained a few minutes ago. It's around 5 p.m. on a Wednesday, the month of May 2024. And it is a beautiful evening here in Kiambu County, Kenya. And I wonder where you are watching us from. You can tell us on the comment section. That is, if you don't mind. And that reminds me of the fact that this area has one of the biggest diaspora community in the country, which is a unique thing in Kiambu County. They are spread across the Americas, Europe, and the Middle East. In fact, I have seen a lot of love from the group, as a good number has written to me through the comment section and other through my personal email. Continue working hard and be strong, sending nothing but love and prayers from here. I'm also extending the same for those who are watching from here. Please continue watching the scenic video, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Village to Town. Like the video so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible. Smash the notification bell so that every time we post, you will be among the first few people to be notified. Also, keep the conversation going. Tell us, what do you think about Gitaru? Will you consider living here? And for those who are from this area, you can drop a fact or two about your hood. Thank you.